The flat pitch. A flat pitch has no grass, no moisture, and no mercy for bowlers. The curator has rolled it so many times that the soil underneath is fully compacted. Hard as a table. When the ball lands on it, it comes through at the same height every single time. Consistent. Predictable. The ball doesn't seam sideways, doesn't kick up sharply, doesn't spin viciously. It just arrives. Clean. Inviting. And for a batter in a T20, that is heaven. This is the standard T20 pitch. Curators prepare it deliberately because the format needs run scoring, not 12 wickets falling for 80 runs. When you see SRH posting 287 for 3 in an IPL 2024 match, the highest total in IPL history, or Chris Gale smashing 175 not out off just 66 balls for RCB, you're watching what a flat pitch makes possible. The ball's coming onto the bat at a predictable height, the bounce is uniform, and the batter just has to decide where to hit it. Here's what people miss, though. Bowlers aren't useless on flat pitches. The pitch just gives them nothing for free. Every wicket they take costs full skill, full execution, full effort. Zero help from the surface. That is genuinely the hardest possible way to bowl. The slow pitch. This one is sneaky, and it doesn't look scary at all. On a slow pitch, the ball pitches and just dies. The surface, usually dry sandy soil with low clay content, very common in Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and parts of the Caribbean, absorbs the energy from the ball instead of returning it. So the ball loses pace after bouncing and stays low, rather than rising to a comfortable hitting height. The batter plays a shot they've played 1,000 times, but the ball arrives slower than expected, lower than expected. Timing goes completely wrong. Bottom edge, caught behind, or the shot goes straight to a fielder because the batter's weight transfer was a fraction early for how slowly the ball actually arrived. Bangladesh and Sri Lanka have consistently been among the lowest scoring T20 sides at home among full ICC members over the last decade. The slow pitch doesn't just hurt visiting teams. It actually disrupts home batters too, because natural aggressive stroke play doesn't work properly on it. You cannot just swing through the line and trust the ball to clear the boundary the way it would on a flat track. The wet pitch. Rain gets into the surface, moisture goes deep, and now the pitch behaves in ways nobody planned for. On a wet pitch, the ball skids off the surface rather than bouncing normally. The moisture makes the pitch cohesive and soft, so instead of the ball gripping and rising, it slides through low and fast. Batters who expect normal bounce get the ball rushing at them at shin level. Swing bowlers love wet pitches because the moisture in the air adds to the movement they already get. Spinners, on the other hand, get very little from it. A wet surface doesn't let the ball grip and turn. The wet pitch is unpredictable in the worst way. Not every ball behaves the same. Some skid, some grip slightly and bounce, some just die. That inconsistency is what makes it genuinely dangerous in professional cricket. When conditions get bad enough, umpires can take the players off. In the 1998 test between the West Indies and England in Kingston, Jamaica, the match was abandoned after just 10.1 overs because the surface was so dangerous. The ball was rearing at the batter's head from a short length. The umpires called it off and never came back. Now, a wet pitch and a sticky wicket are not the same thing. People confuse these all the time, and it drives me crazy. The sticky wicket is coming up later in this video, and it is 10 times worse than anything a wet pitch can do. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. That section alone is worth it. The sporting pitch. This is the pitch every curator claims they're preparing, and very few actually nail it. A sporting pitch has a light grass covering, just enough for the new ball to seam early on. A firm rolled surface so the bounce is true and batters can play proper shots once they're in. And enough gradual wear in the soil so spinners become relevant in the final stages of the game. Something for everyone, a fair contest between bat and ball from start to finish. In ODI cricket, this is what an ideal surface looks like. Pace bowlers get movement in the power play. Batters find their feet in the middle overs on a surface that rewards proper technique. By the death, the worn surface gives variations to bowlers, something to work with. Scores of 280 to 310 in the first innings. Competitive, but absolutely chaseable. In Test cricket, a sporting pitch is what produces 5 full days of competitive cricket. Pace on day 1, batting on days 2 and 3, spin and reverse swing on days 4 and 5. The best Test matches you've ever watched were almost certainly played on a sporting pitch doing exactly what it was designed to do. The green pitch. Here's where we get into Test cricket. And here's where pitches stop being surfaces and start being tactics. A green pitch has a thick covering of real, live grass left on it deliberately. When the ball hits that grass, the seam grips. The ball angles sideways off the pitch. Not slightly, but noticeably. A delivery aimed at the stumps can end up outside off. A delivery aimed outside off can come back and hit the pad. The batter has to play every single ball as if it might do something different. And against a world-class seam bowler, that is exhausting before lunch on day 1. England and New Zealand produce the most reliable green pitches because of their climates. Cool, damp, overcast. Keep grass thick naturally. Lord's Cricket Ground is the most iconic green pitch venue in the world. That famous 2.5-meter slope running across the entire ground, the English cloud cover, and the moisture in the surface all combine to create conditions where seam bowling becomes genuinely menacing. James Anderson took 704 wickets across his entire Test career. He became the first pace bowler in history to take 100 wickets at a single venue, at Lord's. Because on a green pitch, the right seam bowler isn't just good. They're almost unplayable. The dusty pitch. The dusty pitch is the spin bowler's green pitch. Different surface, exact same intention. Use what's under the player's feet to make one type of bowling dominant. Black cotton soil, used widely across India and Sri Lanka, breaks down under rolling and intense heat. The surface becomes dry and crumbly. Rough patches develop. Cracks form across the strip. When a spinner lands the ball in a crack or a rough patch, it grips and rips, turning sharply and often bouncing at a completely different height than the batter expected from the same length delivery. That variable bounce is the real problem. An experienced batter can sometimes read the direction of spin. They cannot reliably predict whether a ball on a good length is going to come up at chest height or skid through at ankle level. India have won 15 tests at M.A. Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai. In the most recent test played there, spinners took 33 of the 40 wickets that fell. Fast bowlers took 7. That's not an accident. The dusty pitch is a weapon, and it's been working at that ground for 90 years. The dry pitch. People mix this up with the dusty pitch all the time. They're not the same. A dry pitch is baked solid, not crumbly. Cracks develop across the surface over time. And crucially, the surface is abrasive. It roughens the ball rapidly as it scrapes across the hard ground over and over. One side of the ball gets roughed up from the pitch. The fielding team polishes the other side by hand. Once that contrast is established, the ball starts reversing, swinging in the opposite direction to normal swing. And on a dry, abrasive pitch, that reverse swing arrives much earlier in the innings because the ball wears down faster. Pakistan are historically the masters of the dry pitch. Wasim Akram and Waqar Younis terrorized batting lineups on the dry, hard surfaces of Karachi and Lahore. The dry pitch doesn't give them early seam movement the way England gets on a green pitch. It gives them something in the second innings with an old ball that requires completely different technique to handle, and that most teams simply never figure out in time. The bouncy pitch. Australia. Over 50% clay content in the soil means the surface compresses hard, dries firm, and springs the ball back up with real energy. The Waka in Perth is widely considered the fastest pitch in the world. A delivery that lands on a good length and arrives at hip height anywhere else in the world comes at you at chest height at the Waka, sometimes higher. The bounce is steep, consistent, and relentless. The ball doesn't deviate much sideways, but it keeps getting up into your body from a length that your brain tells you is safe. That's the trap. By the time you realize the length was shorter than normal, the ball is already in your gloves. Curtly Ambrose took 7 wickets for just 1 run in a single spell at the Waka in 1993. 7 wickets, 1 run. That's a bouncy pitch plus a great fast bowler operating at the absolute peak of his powers. The afternoon Fremantle Doctor, the sea breeze that rolls across Perth every day, adds swing on top of the pace and bounce already there. Batters who grew up on slow subcontinental surfaces find it genuinely threatening the first time they face it. The adjustment isn't about technique alone. It's about trust, learning to let the ball come onto you rather than reaching for it early. The sticky wicket. And finally, the one that barely exists in professional cricket anymore, but that shaped the entire history of the game. A sticky wicket happens when a pitch gets completely soaked by rain and then dries rapidly under hot sun. As the surface dries unevenly, hard and tacky on top, soft underneath, the ball grips the surface in completely unpredictable ways. It can shoot through low, rear up sharply, or grip and spin viciously, all from the same spot, on the same pitch, in the same over. Not even the greatest batters in history could survive it consistently. In the first test of the 1950-51 Ashes at the Gabba, the pitch turned into a sticky wicket mid-match. 20 wickets fell in a single day for just 130 runs. England declared at 68 for 7. Australia declared at 32 for 7. Both captains chose to give away their innings rather than carry on batting. Two test captains declaring at 68 and 32 respectively. That tells you everything you need to know about what a sticky wicket felt like. Pitches weren't fully covered against rain in Test cricket until 1979, and not in all first-class cricket until 1982. For almost the entire history of the sport before that, a rain shower mid-match could flip everything completely. Headley Verity took 15 wickets against Australia at Lord's in 1934 on 1. 15 wickets. Because on a sticky wicket, bowling was barely cricket anymore. It was closer to shooting fish in a barrel. Today, covers go on before the first drop falls. The sticky wicket has been gone from professional cricket for over 40 years, but the phrase is still alive. When someone says they're on a sticky wicket, they mean they're in a genuinely difficult situation with no good options and no way out. That's a perfect description of what batting on one used to feel like. If this helped you understand why the pitch is the silent third team in every single cricket match, hit that like button. Subscribe for more Cricket Explained Simply. Drop a comment telling me which pitch type you'd least want to bat on. Thanks for watching.